All right, we're rolling. Okay, this will be one of my shorter videos. Oh, by the way, happy Canada Day to my Canadian viewers and happy FOJ to my American viewers. And it is this week, the first week of July, that every year we celebrate both those holidays. This video is what I call a moment of truth unboxing. And if you're not sure what I mean by that, I shall explain. I bought something that I think is a very early pressing. In fact, the earliest UK pressing of the self-titled Elton John album, which was released in April 1970 on DJM in the UK. And that album went through several cuts. Well, its first side went through several cuts, as in lacquers, cut by Pi. The earliest known lacquer combo is A2B1. And we don't know what happened to A1, if it ever existed. Certainly never turned up. So something must have happened to the A1 lacquer, and as I said, the earliest was A2B1. By the time the album began to sell fairly well in the UK, the first side had been recut at least twice, and the album was already onto its fourth side one lacquer, so A4. And so a lot of the copies that sold in that time period were A4B1 copies. And I actually have one of those. Until now, this was the earliest UK DJM copy of the Elton John album I had. You can see it's a textured sleeve. And it's an A4B1. And we can date this particular copy already by looking at the Made in England indicator there on the label. And I won't hold it up to a light, but it is translucent. So it's definitely 1972 or later, probably late 72, early 73. Again, this is an A4B1. By the way, I actually got this copy about 11 years ago. Well, maybe, sorry, it was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, my second summer in England, and I bought it in Stratford-upon-Avon at Henley Street Antiques on Henley Street, which is actually very close to Shakespeare's birthplace, just across the street and down the block a little ways. A lot of the A4B1 copies, and I'm not saying this is a hard and fast rule, but I've noticed that a lot of the A4B1 copies shipped in this sleeve that, like most other sleeves in the first series copies, was textured, but you'll notice that it's very dark, unusually so for this album cover. So that's something just to keep in mind if you're looking for a vintage copy of this. So I've been looking for an A2B1 for some time, and before I open this box, I just want to say this is also an American copy, a uni copy, pressed by Monarch Records in California. I believe these were the earliest American pressings of the Elton John album, or at least among the earliest. And the Monarch copies were pressed using British stampers, and the stampers that they used were A2B1 stampers. So I've had a UK A2B1 copy, kind of, because I've had this Monarch copy. I want a real one that's actually like a UK copy, and I bought this from eBay, and I think it's an A2B1, okay? The reason I think so is because of the pressing ring. The pressing rings in the item photos match those pressing rings that we saw on the 1969 mono Empty Sky, and also the 1969, or at least the early stereo copy of Empty Sky. It's not the typical Pi Tranco pressing ring. It's got that double dip. So we're going to open this and we're going to see, is this the copy that I think it is? Cross your fingers. Moment of truth. Oh yeah, there are actually two records in here. I'll show you the other one when the moment of truth moment is over. When they pack this. Oh, good. Okay. Oh, it's a dark cover. No, it's in one of these sleeves that I hate. Oh, well. That's not so bad. Textured sleeve. It's very similar to the A4B1 copy that I have. Very thin. So I'm getting kind of nervous now. All right, pressing ring is what I saw. Okay. Can you see that? That is B1. not throw with a condition. It could use a good clean. Uh-oh, it's an A3. But we have an asterisk and a T, which means Tony Bridge cut this. That's interesting. My A4 does not have an initial. So it's an A3B1. I wanted it to be an A2. Well, it's still worth having. Okay, I'm slightly disappointed. And as you can see, this thing is scratched all to hell. Luckily, I didn't pay too much money for it. Okay, A3. Well, hey, those are hard to find. Whatever. All right, this is the other one that I got. This is Greatest Hits Volume 2. And you're probably thinking, Matt, who cares? It's Greatest Hits Volume 2. Well, it's not just any copy. Bum, 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 it's a gatefold sleeve. This is an original 1977 Portuguese Greatest Hits Volume 2. And yeah, here we go. Well, that's heavy. Nice, boy, that one needs a clean too. Okay. All right, well, that was a moment of truth unboxing. Not for Greatest Hits Volume 2. I knew what I was getting there, but for this. So I now have an A3B1. Okay, well, it'll take me some more time to get an A2, but I will get there. One day, I will have a real UK A2B1. Be back soon.